Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Spurs Chat, where we will be discussing the Tottenham Hotspur 0-0 draw away at Brentford at the Brentford Community Stadium in the Premier League today. Before I introduce my three very special guests, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button and also like and share as well. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Let's introduce the three guests, all returning guests to the channel. First of all, we've got actor Ricky Norwood. Ricky, how are you? And many congratulations, you passed your driving test this week.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. It's a long time coming, but we got there in the end. Yes, I'm certified. I've got the certificate. And don't you worry, every watcher and listener. Now that I can have a car and got sat nav, I'm not going to get lost. I know which one's the home games and I know which ones are the away games. I'm not getting lost anymore. All right. So let me just get in there before anybody else does.
You ruined my next line. I was just about to give that joke. You got there first. You got there first. Well,
yeah.
Our next guest is in the car, exactly like me. Darren Hart, also actor. You've seen him in many adverts in his latest film, Pirates. Darren, how are you?
I'm all right, gentlemen. I'm all right. I've been better. I've been a lot better, but I'm all right. And I'm going to find a positive. I'm going to find one. I'm looking. That's why I stayed in the car. This is my happy space.
Good. Well, we need some positivity today from you, Darren. We have also got returning guest, Italian journalist and pundit with Football Station and Football Italia, Simone. Simone, welcome back to the channel. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Chris. Nice to see you. Once again, fantastic.
Right, Ricky, let's get into the football. Brentford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. What did you make of the game?
Bro, I was thoroughly disappointed. I was frustrated. I was angry, especially after last week. The fact that we couldn't see a response that we needed. It actually felt like Nuno took back over. It felt like Nuno took the team over from last week. We didn't get a shot on target. And then it's like he's continued this week. I don't know whether he's part of the fitness team or the coaching team or whether we've got him in the back door. I don't know what's happened. But I was actually really frustrated, especially with the other results going against us this week. The only positive that I can kind of see is that we didn't lose for the first time. We've had a draw in the first time for ages. And the away crowd were on top. They were singing. They were lively. They supported that team. They tried to sing him up. They tried to sing him on. And it just didn't happen. But very frustrating day, my friend.
Ricky, I didn't expect those words. Is Nuno back? You're normally one of the most normally one of the most positive Spurs fans I know.
I know, bro. I know. But you know what it is? It's like it's because it hurts. It's because like we get to this stage, we start banging some goals, we start looking good, we start looking solid. You know, there's still a few niggles. Yeah, there's still a few areas of improvement, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But, you know, there was a look about us against Villa that was like, we're going for it and we're going to fight for it. And we've got a dangerous front three and, you know, the midfield was working. And I just don't know what's happened, honestly. Watching that today, I was angry the whole way through, mate. Brentford looked like they were going for the top four. They looked like the more likely to score. They looked the more creative. They pressed us high. They really caused us trouble. You know, every random bounce went to a Brentford player. Every little niggle went to a Brentford player. Every time that we had the ball and we dallied on it, they nicked it off of our toes. Do you know what I mean? And broke on us. So it's just my feelings, bro. It's just like I'm in my feelings today. I'm just frustrated and angry. And again, I was swearing at the TV like a trooper, my friend. Like too much. So I've had a little time to calm down before the show. So hopefully we can get some perspective on the game.
Darren, let's come to you. Your thoughts. You know, that is now 180 minutes of football without a shot on target from Tottenham.
Yeah, it was shocking. That kind of stat is shocking to hear. What I was trying to do was put a different kind of perspective on today. And we played a side that is very well organised and is on form right now. 3 wins on the bounce. Also, they come into London and no one beat them. Like, they dealt with everybody. They played very good football. And I think what had happened is what I feel this season has been for everybody. We played a couple of games that looked great and we were buzzing in our heads as Spurs fans. Then you get the result that doesn't go our way and everyone's like, oh, sugar, wheels have come off the bus. It's all a mess. It's all a hot mess. And today highlighted so many things for me in terms of why if we get top 4, of course it's a luxury and it's an amazing feat, but it's an overachievement for this team and this squad. And it is all about next season. I think it's where everyone's getting reality checks this season. And that was another reality check for us. And I think there's so much to break down. Yes, there was how many minutes, 100 and whatnot minutes now without a shot on target. What I realized in the 2 games, the Brighton game and this game, is that teams have now worked out something that I've looked at and I've spotted. And they're filling the gap that Kane wants. They're sitting a man in that gap and saying, Harry, the gap doesn't exist anymore. Now what are you going to do? And what we've realized is we have a lot of support men. We don't have a lot of people who want to take the game by the scruff of its neck and run it. Harry wants to do that, but no one else does. So when no one's doing it, the game ends up what we get today, 0-0, or as it could have been today, they could have nicked it. And that is something that we know is there. And it's very apparent right now. And it's something that is going to be Jekyll and Hyde for these last few games of the season, because not everyone's going to be able to do what Brighton and these guys did today. Not everyone's going to have that centre midfielder who is going to be as disciplined as they were. But it's going to be an up and down end to the season. And I'm going to say it now because I'm starting strong. I'm still backing us to get 4th because I don't feel this roller coaster is over, but we can see where our problems are. And Leicester are not going to play that way. Liverpool are not going to play that way. And these are games where suddenly we're going to have a different kind of feel about them and there's going to be different energy about them. So I can see why we're all upset today, gentlemen. I'm upset too. Don't get it twisted. But I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. I really can. Speaking of light, let me add some.
Simone, your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah. I completely agree with you guys. I think incredible step back in terms of performances in the last couple of games. The big teams are the ones that knows how to win games of football without playing well. So it's impossible that Tottenham were managing to beat anyone 4-0, 5-1. It was impossible. But 1 point out of 6 between Brighton and Brentford, we're talking about something not good enough to finish into the top 4. I completely agree. And what I would like to say, to point out, to underline, is the fact of this team is 100% completely missing Matt Doherty, and it's incredible. Matt Doherty is an incredible player in terms of the tactical side. I can find instead maybe 40, 50 better right wing back in Europe than Emerson Royal. I think that it's the weak link for Spurs. It's really the weak link for Spurs. I still can't understand why Fabio Paratici decided to spend so much money, 25, 30 million pounds for a player that lacked a little bit of everything, lacked the piece of the Premier League, lacked the tactical analysis of Antonio Conte. So we are talking about something that is not good, And
can I just bring in Stephen's question, Simone, to you on screen? I said after the Brighton game, play Emerson Royal and we will not be beating Brentford. The front 3 cannot operate with inept wing-backs. This is a big problem, isn't it, at the moment with the wing-backs?
Yeah. I completely agree, Stephen. Absolutely, 100%. And on the other side as well, Tottenham has got the same problem, because for me, Sergio Reguilon, we're not talking about a top left wing-back. Ryan Sessegnon can have that potential because everyone is aware, every one of us remembers the brilliant game that he played in Leeds, for example, the brilliant game that he played, for example, away at the Etihad when Tottenham beat Man City 3-2. So in Sessegnon, I can see a potential. In Reguilon as well, I can see the same problems of Emerson Royal. And if you are Antonio Conte, we know how much he counts on the wing-backs. We're talking about big problems ahead, and I think that this summer has to be key. And then, of course, if it was Antonio, I would have changed something today, to be honest, because you cannot afford to leave Lucas or Steven Bergwijn on the bench for 90 minutes when you are when you are watching playing football, Emerson Royal or things like that. I still can't understand why Davinson Sanchez came in. Of course, Davinson Sanchez is good. He can score on a set pieces. But, come on, Antonio, let's change system once in a lifetime. let's discuss this back three. You are 0-0 away at Brentford. You are playing for the top four. Come on, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. I would have bring in the likes of Bergwijn and Lucas Moura so much before than Antonio decided to bring them in.
We'll go through the team selection shortly. Alex writes now, get me on back, Chris. Alex, you're welcome back on any time, so just let me know when you're free. We are bang average, not top four, not a trophy. 70 points or more gets you top four. We're not getting it. I normally ask this question right at the end of the show, where you think we're going to be finishing in the Premier League. I feel like now, with only 5 games to go, I want to get it out and over with, because right now I'm sitting here not knowing. I can't even predict it myself. I think that it's going to probably go down to that Arsenal-Spurs game in the North London derby on the 12th of May. Ricky, if I was to ask you directly, where do you think Spurs will finish at the end of the season? What would you say?
Oh, bro, you brought it in early. Okay, so, I've said to you a couple of times, Fifth, I really want to be wrong. I think we have the potential. I think we have everything within us to make that top 4. But when you look at games like against Brighton and today, it just doesn't fill you with much confidence. And where we've had this topsy-turvy, crazy train of a roller coaster, as Lee McQueen always says, the crazy train season that we've had, we just thought we was climbing, and these 2 results have brought us back down to earth, and kind of, it's just made every Tottenham fan worry, I think. It's tough to say, bro. It's tough to say. I know Darren was confident on top 4, sneaking in that 4th spot. I just don't know. After today's game, I just don't know, mate. But a lot like Simone that was saying earlier, you can ask Darren, in our little WhatsApps between the game, I was screaming for Bergwijn to come on. I was screaming to get Emerson off of that field, push Kulu to right wing back, bring on Bergwijn, because we've seen that not only does he have pace, he has trickery. And recently, he's had a goal in his boots. All right, he missed a shot last week in the last 5 minutes, but give him a bit more time. Bring him on at 60 minutes. Change the system. We could easily have gone to a 4-2-3-1 today and kind of get a bit more attacking today. And that's what worries me also. It's like, I believe in Conte, and I believe that he's the right man for Tottenham, and I believe that he will achieve at Tottenham. I really do, especially like if and when we back him in the summer. But today, with the late substitutions, with the first substitution that we brought on being Sanchez, I was like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing here? But it does show the lack of trust in Reguilon, because he's pushed Davies left wing back, and he's brought on Sanchez. He didn't bring on Reguilon at left wing back. It also shows that, Doherty, we've seen improved performances from Doherty, but I don't think he's the one either. I don't think he's going to be a world beater either. I think we've seen his ceiling, to tell you the truth. I think we've seen the best of what he can bring to the side, and that's better than anybody else in the squad, but I still don't think he's the guy that's going to take us to new heights next season. It's just tough, Chris. I can't answer, mate. I can't, honestly. Because I want to back my team every single day. Do you know what I mean?
A simple yes or no, then. Will Tottenham finish 4th? Simple yes or no?
Jeez. Yeah. Of course we will. We will. Oh.
Darren, what are you saying?
I've said it whenever I've been asked this question, and I'm going to stay with my gut. My gut says we're going to finish 4th. My logic behind it comes with this. We've had our 2 games where we haven't looked our best. Let's be real. Brighton, we didn't look very good. Today, we didn't look very good. But what has heightened the pressure is our naughty neighbours have had 2 results that have gone their way. So now everyone's gone, they're back, we're off. And I think this season, these last 5 games, there's going to be more of that. They're off, we're on. It's going to keep flipping. It's going to keep doing that. And that's why I'm going to hold on to the hope. Because right now, no team, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, no one wants it. No one is showing that they want it. And right now, it's up for grabs. So I'm going to say we're going to grab it. That's the only way I can get through these last few games is by staying in that mindset of going, we're going to grab it. Because that's the energy I need to be behind the lads. Because if I switch off now and go, we're not getting 4th, I might as well not watch any of the last 5 games. They're null and void to me. Even the derby's null and void to me. But if I go in with this passion, we've got to stay there. We've got to go for it. Now, everything the boys have said already today. I support everything they said. I think Conte also today is a victim of his own ego, his own annoyance, his own passion with the substitutions. Because as we quite rightly said, we're as fans, yes, we're football manager fans, we're armchair fans, we're Sky Sports fans, whatever people want to look at it and go, we're not being paid what the gaffer's being paid. But we can see the change DDP made, and he could see it too, because he's as passionate as we are. But he didn't trust the resources. And that's what it's boiling down to. He doesn't trust the cards that he has in his deck. He's looking at that back line, he's looking at his bench, he's going, there's not enough for me to make the change I want to make. I don't have the trust in these players to do it. And that's a massive problem, because this season is the transition for a lot of clubs. And we're going to have to make sure that we're ready come next season, because we're going to lose out if he doesn't have the tools, or if he's going to lose out if he can't trust what we've got. We ain't got Doherty, and it's weird to hear us say we're missing Doherty. Like, it's throwing my head. It nearly makes me want to get out of the car and do a little Mooney and come back in, because I don't understand what that logic is. Why are we missing him? But that shows what the system is, and that shows what Conte is trying to produce. But right now, the puzzle pieces aren't all there, and the clientele aren't there. And also, it shows again where in the middle of the park, the creative player to dictate the pace of the game isn't there. And it's just highlighting all. However, the question was only about top four. I'm still going to back myself, and I'm still going to back the boys. And if anyone wants to tell me in the comments, I've said it from day one to day done, so I can't change now.
Does it worry you, though, Darren, the fact that Arsenal have had a fantastic week beating Chelsea and beating Manchester United today? And do you think that those results, in particular the one against Manchester United today, putting Arsenal in the top four, do you think that had any effect on the Spurs players today, the fact that we were fifth going into the game?
I think it will do, because that's sports mentality, and it's that thing now they've got to look at the table and we're swapped with them. So that is going to have an effect on their mentality. Now it's what you do with that. As anyone tells you, in any human being, when you see that moment, it's going to light something, or it's going to put a fear in you. And it's now going to be a test of character in our next game. It's going to be about who is standing up. Conte is going to be pumped himself. How pumped will they be? How ready are they going to be? Because like you said, those guys across the road, they've got excited now. They had Chelsea lay down for them. And let's be real, no one expected them to lose to Man United today. Let's be real. Like, even the football gods tried to give them penalties and all sorts, and it still weren't happening. They were still pulling through that game. So if we're real, every Spurs player should be at home going, we didn't do ourselves service today. We got a point. We got lucky today with a point. Let's take that luck and let's go on and win those games now, because it's still down to us. And that's the beauty of it. It's not in everyone else's hands. It's still down to us. We win our games, we're top four.
Right, so Ricky's going fourth, Darren's going fourth. Simone, before I come to you, I'm just going to show everyone the Premier League table. Of course, we're now fifth. We've played 33, we've won 18, we've drawn 4, lost 11, goal difference of plus 18, got 58 points. The results today: Arsenal 3, Manchester United 1, Leicester 0, Aston Villa 0, Manchester City beat Watford 5-1, Norwich lost 3-0 at home against Newcastle, and of course our result, Brentford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Simone, will Tottenham Hotspur finish in the top 4?
50-50, Chris. It's impossible to find out what is gonna be the next couple of weeks, because we are talking about two teams, Tottenham, Arsenal, that are not mature teams. They are able to win against everyone, and they are able as well to lose against everyone. This is incredible. Look at Tottenham, look at Arsenal. No point out of 9 if you are thinking about Arsenal in the last couple of weeks, and then 6 points out of 6 against Chelsea at the Bridge and against Man U. So the biggest news that we received today is that Man United are out from the race. So it's all about Tottenham, Arsenal. I think that Arsenal can have a big chance of finish fourth if they are going to be able to win 6 points out of 6 in the next 2 games, the ones before the North London derby. Because, of course, there is Leicester, but Tottenham still have to play Liverpool away. So if you compare the fixtures, the 5 of Arsenal and the 5 of Tottenham, the most difficult game for these sides is the game that Antonio's and his side have to play away at Anfield. So that game could be key. That fixture could be key in my opinion, because if Tottenham will be able to make a point maybe, or to reach the chance to arrive at the North London derby, looking at the fourth place in his hand, well, it all depends on that fixture.
Let's be honest and frank about it, though, Simone. The fact that when we look at the fixtures on paper, Brighton and Brentford look far easier than what Arsenal had, Chelsea and Manchester United.
Yeah, it was true. But if you look at teams that are going to play for the survival to avoid the relegation zone, we are talking about as well very, very difficult game. Arsenal are crazy. Tottenham as well. We are talking about an unbelievable race, quite different. For example, if you remember 7-8 years ago under AVB, under Villas-Boas, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham were all leading the race. Were all winning. This race is quite different. This race, anything can happen, because both Tottenham and Arsenal can draw points against everyone, can lose points against everyone. So it's incredible, and anything can happen till the end of the season. Absolutely anything. Of course,
Ricky, let's come to you.
Yeah.
Go on, Simone. Sorry.
Yeah, of course. Spurs in the last two games of the season, they need to play Burnley and they need to play Norwich. Norwich will be relegated, I think so. Burnley, it all changed. If they got the motivation to be still alive, Tottenham, Burnley, even after a win in the North London derby, Tottenham, Burnley can become an incredible, difficult game. So it's impossible to underline what is going to happen, guys. This top four race is the most incredible I've seen in my life, to be honest.
So we've got two people saying top four, and we've got two people sitting on the fence right now. Ricky, let's come to you. Let's go through the team lineup. There was one change from the defeat at home to Brighton last weekend. Sessegnon coming in for Sergio Reguilon. So the full team as follows: Hugo Lloris in goal, back three Romero, Dyer and Davis, wing backs Emerson Royale and Ryan Sessegnon, in midfield Bentancur, Højbjerg, front three of Kulusevski, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. Substitutes Reguilon, Sanchez, Winks, Rodon, Galini, Bergwijn, Lucas Moura, White and Scarlett. What did you make of that one change from Antonio Conte today with Sessegnon coming in?
Well, to tell you the truth, I was kind of, excited about seeing him play and kind of seeing what he's going to bring to the side. He had a great interview on ESPN not too long ago, speaking about Antonio Conte and the system, and how Conte makes you want to run through walls, and is very professional and is a perfectionist and stuff like that. So I felt that Sessegnon had the confidence of the manager, and so I was kind of intrigued to see him play. But I gotta say, bro, like he didn't do anything for me today. If I'm really honest, I think he was as bad as Emerson on the other side. There is that kind of he had one good game against Leeds in that period of time in which he had a couple of runner games. I still wasn't 100% convinced with him, and then I saw him today, and I was just like, there was shoddy passing, the short passing, the long passing, the crosses. I don't know what was going on. I honestly don't know what was going on. He tried to cross into an opposing defender. Like, regardless, we all know, we can see it standing there, that sitting at home or whether you're in the stand, we can all see that he's not going to beat this defender that's standing in front of him. Yet he still wanted to cross into his midsection, and then it was counter-attack on us again. So I was excited to see him play, but I was thoroughly disappointed with the performance that he put in as well. I think out of the four wing-backs that we've got, if I was going to keep anyone, I would probably keep Reguilon, to tell you the truth. I know that Reguilon's got his problems. I know that Reguilon ain't the number one. Do you know what I mean? I know that he's adapting to work in a wing back role. We all know that he prefers a back four. Do you know what I mean? So we do have a transition with him. But I feel that even on the defensive side, if it's just defensive, I think Reguilon gives us more at a wing back. But Cesc, I don't know, mate. I don't know. He didn't look great today. I don't think he put in a great performance. I think he looked scared to get injured again. So at the beginning, bro, I was excited to see him play, but I really was not impressed with the performance that he put in, and I was not surprised that he got hooked off. I was just surprised that they brought on Sanchez for him and pushed Davies to left wing back. That surprised me. I think we've got more things on our shopping list than we thought we had. More positions to go for on the shopping list than I thought we had. You know, so it just wasn't a one. But we'll see. We'll see. Like we say, there's still games to go. If Conte trusts him, then I'll trust him. But I need to see it on the field. Do you know what I mean? The ESPN interview was great and it was good words, but I need to see it. He always looks unsure to me. He always looks worried. His brow is always furrowed. He's always like, oh my God. And you see all the lines in his forehead. He's always worried about something. He's always scared about something, I feel. You know, I need him to go. I need him to be confident. I need him to be a bit of a Romero when it comes down to aggression and pushing forward and implementing his game on the field. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I was excited but disappointed, bro.
Darren, I asked this question a lot to the guests on this channel, and I feel like it changes quite a lot as well throughout the season. Who are the best wing backs at the club right now?
Wow. It's funny because, like, as Ricky was talking about Sessegnon, I was talking to some Fulham fans about him and just the transformation from injury, what we've got than what they had. And they're like, he's a shadow of the player that he was. And I was like, yeah, I totally agree. So right now, if you said to me, who's the best right now, if I've got to pick two to play and I've got all four of them fit, I'm taking Doherty as right back and I'm taking Reguilon as my left back. And I'm going to explain my Reguilon choice because I want Reguilon there because one is work ethic up and down that wing. He is the most active energy-wise. So he creates a problem for the right-sided, either wing-back, winger, or right-back. He creates a problem. And he does do what Conte wants you to do and presses right up the pitch and he's always in that danger zone. The problem we have with Reguilon is he is a left-back. So when he gets up there, he hasn't got a Scooby-Doo what he does in the box. He never makes the finish that he's supposed to do. And also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, when Reguilon has a chance to shoot and a player's next to him, he goes down. And rather than take the shot, he's always waiting for the contact for a penalty. And I don't know where that's coming to his game, but hopefully they can get that out of his game. Because I think he's scarpered himself in probably getting a shot on target because he waits for contact and goes down. So that's something to look at. So that would be my best two right now. It has changed because it's been Sessegnon has been number one when, as we all said, when he had that good game and he started to look like a version of the man who was at Fulham, who we paid money for. And I think what Ricky's saying about the shopping list growing, for me, I said it to Ricky in the week about I don't want us to be sentimental Spurs anymore and go, oh, because they've played well or because they've had a good game, let's give them a chance or let's keep them over the summer because they may improve. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And the reason why, Chris, you keep asking that question to everyone, because our four are not good enough. If they were good enough, it wouldn't ever be a question. We would know who the two are and who are on the bench. But because we have not got the quality in our squad, all four of them are just not good enough.
Do you think any of them will be at the club next year under Conte?
Yeah, I think by default they will be because I don't see all four being shipped out and getting four in. I think that would be a mad window. I see two potentially going, and I think Levy may have to have the conversation and go, we're willing to let all four go, but it's going to have to be getting our two in and then letting whichever two can go. And I think we're going to have to be a little bit more daring in the market in terms of playing our hands a little bit open, not keeping it closed. And I think when we do that, it's going to make clubs get a little bit of a bargain. And I think we're going to have to take some hits on some players and not get the fee that we may have always commanded. But we're going to need it out. And I don't see all four going. So we're going to have two of them for sure.
Simone, let's come to you on the team lineup. It appears, if a player's out injured, then of course they're not going to be picked. But, other than that, this team seems to be picking itself right now. And last time you were on the channel was the day before the January transfer window ended, where we were talking about Bentancur and Kulusevski signing for Spurs. You weren't convinced and you weren't very happy with these signings for Spurs. And I quote you saying that these two aren't any better than Harry Winks. Have you changed your mind on these two now?
Yeah. To be honest, Rodrigo Bentancur is a better player than Harry Winks, of course. But we are not talking about a Christian Eriksen. We are not talking about top class midfielder. You know, Rodrigo offered to Antonio something different than Skippy or Obi. Something maybe in terms of the technical side, Rodrigo Bentancur knows how to handle the ball, knows how to play the ball, and maybe is something that this midfield were missing a little bit. But of course, we are not talking about Moussa Dembele. We are not talking about Christian Eriksen. We are not talking about that state of player. And today, to be honest, once again, Rodrigo Bentancur, just like 1 week ago, was really, really disappointing, to be honest, because I expected from him, when you have to open the space, when you need something to create damage to the defensive line of the other team, you need something more. And for me, I was to be honest, Chris, as you remember, so skeptical in terms of spending 65 million pounds for Bentancur and Kulusevski, because I know in Europe for that amount of money you can find a little bit more. Dejan Kulu was fantastic, to be honest. Kulu first 3 months was absolutely great, but don't forget that playing Kulu in that position in 3-4-3, the system that Antonio wants Tottenham to play, of course you're gonna deny any kind of chance to both Lucas Moura and Steven Bergwijn. So, you know, in terms of that choice, that Paratici's choice, 65 million pounds for both players, for me, I still think so, were too much. But of course, we are talking about two very good players, of course. No doubt about it.
Have you been surprised, Simone, how they've adapted to the Premier League so quickly, both of them?
Yeah, definitely. Especially Bentancur, because Bentancur, especially in March, was very good. In the last couple of weeks, instead, I saw the same problems that he had at Juventus. When he need to improve, to step up his level, maybe decide to stay to that level, 6th level. As a number 6, I do my job, but you know, we are not talking about Christian Eriksen on players that can provide something different to their teammates. So this is the difference, guys. The difference. But we are talking about two very good players. And I completely agree on what both Ricky and him were saying about the fullbacks. So about Reguilon, about Sessegnon. I think that Ryan Sessegnon today was so shy. So I think that I completely agree with Ricky when he was excited by the prospect of seeing again Ryan Sessegnon, but he was expecting something more, because in Manchester and in Leeds he shows great personality. He showed great personality. Today he was so shy. Maybe good in the first half. In the second half, when you have to push there on the left, you need to give more. And that wasn't enough. Of course.
Well, the stats from today: Brentford had 44% possession to Tottenham's 56. They had 15 shots to Tottenham's 9. They had 2 shots on target to Tottenham's 0. They had 12 corners to Tottenham's 8. Antonio Conte said straight after the game, with 5 games left to play, we're talking that Tottenham is in the race for the Champions League. In November, people forget the trouble that the team was in. We have improved a lot. That is something that we do have to be positive about, Ricky, isn't it? That we have improved a lot since his arrival.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, none of us really, I mean, we was hoping, but none of us really could see, especially with the form up and down. You know, we had that series of games where we won 1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 2, 1-1. Do you know what I mean? So it was a bit of a roller coaster. So you know, I don't think any of us could have really, especially under Nuno, believed that we would be in a Champions League race. For us to be up there and for us to be within 3 points of being there, you know, it is great. There has been a great improvement. There is, but there's plenty more to come. What is frustrating as a fan is that once we've got to the start line of the race, it feels like a couple of people have been like, "Oh, we've been training for 6 months to run in this race." But as soon as the gun was shot to begin the race, everyone was like, "You know what? Let's just jog the first 10 minutes. The first half an hour. Let's just. We don't need to sprint. We can pace us." And that's where we've almost like cut off our nose to spite our face right now. And that's what it's just disappointing that we got there. We're there, against Brighton last week. Darren was saying there, Basuma has denied Harry Kane the space. But then what else is happening? What else is happening around the team? Why didn't we have a shot on target last week? Why wasn't we pushing? If we would have won last week, we would have had a 3-point cushion. So that if the results did go the Gooners' way, which they have against Chelsea and Man United, then we would still have this little bit of a buffer there. So, we could still kind of grab the motivation and push on. But having that last week, losing in the 90th minute, 1-0, and then coming down today where we could have done the same thing. I think it was like 91, 92 minutes when Ivan Toney had that last header that could have been a goal. It hit the post. And then I can't remember who it was, but hit into the side netting. It could have been another very, very late 1-0 win for Brentford today. It's just very frustrating, bro. It's just very frustrating that we're thereabouts. We concede improvement. I can still say that we have improved this season, of course, but we all wanna go. We all want that 10% extra. Like when it comes to moments like this, when it comes to getting over the line, we need them to step up, because as Tottenham fans, it's happened time and time again in our history that when we have an opportunity to go ahead, when we have an opportunity to put that buffer in of a 3 points or to get over that line, we'll fall short. And that's what frustrated me today. Instead of like focusing on the positives and the organization, or some of the good things, there was a loads of kind of triangle passing today, and there's loads of like little flicks around the corners. They didn't come off once we got into the final third, but you could see that they are building this style of play and a pattern of play. So there are positives, especially compared to the Nuno era. But we all just wanted that little bit more. We all wanted to go into this week with our chest high, to go into that Liverpool game with our chest high. Now having a little wobble again, it's just do
you know what I'm thinking?
It's just shaky. Go for it.
I think we're missing someone like a Christian Eriksen, and there is a player available in a couple of months' time who is currently playing for Brentford. We haven't ever replaced Christian Eriksen, so we could replace him with this special guy who is available on a free transfer in a couple of months. Now, 5 minutes into the game, this was the reception that Christian Eriksen got. And then straight after the game, this was the reception he got from the Tottenham Hotspur fans, which he absolutely loved. Darren, I wanted to come to you on this because you mentioned that word sentimental, right? Antonio Conte, straight after the game, said on Christian Eriksen, first of all, I was pleased to see Christian Eriksen play in this way. To speak about the transfer market now, about players, the lack of respect for the team that he is playing for. Now, Brentford manager Thomas Frank said straight after the game, I would love to say that he's going to stay and be confident. I'm very positive and very hopeful, but I cannot say for sure. It's down to Christian. I hope Christian makes the right choice for him and his family. Would you like to see Christian Eriksen back in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt?
Do you want a short answer or a long answer?
Damn it!
No, but after all that, you're going to say no.
No, I'm giving the long answer. It is a no, and I'm going to explain why. Because it's sentimental Spurs here. We got to remember when Christian Eriksen was there, how many times did we have moments like this about the man who couldn't beat a man with a cross, who couldn't take a corner? We're like, he's meant to be a free kick specialist. He can't do a free kick. What is he there for? He disappears in big games. We lose him in the middle of the park. He doesn't do what we need to do. And we were frustrated by him. Then he went abroad. He wanted the move to rejuvenate his career. He went abroad. He won with Conte. That's where we're getting the magic now. We're like, let's put him and Conte back together. Look at the wonderful things that we'll do. I'm just going to remind the world of football. Lukaku had that dream and he brought his backside back to Chelsea. Now look at the sum. He don't want to be there. Let's not do emotions. Let's not do emotions. Because as Simone said, he said about the money that is available and the players that are available. We bought 2 players and people would say there are better players out there for that kind of money. I'm looking at the free transfer window. There are some quality players available on the free transfer. Christian Eriksen, for me, is going to be the sentimental story of this man died on a football pitch and is alive to kick a ball today. I'm happy for him and I'm proud that he never scored today, but had a great game. And he got the reception that he got from the Spurs fans. Do I want him next season in our starting 11? No. Because you put him next to Bentancur, and that is the slowest centre midfield groupage ever. People will run right through that. That's not going to excite me or Spurs. And then we'll get to December and we'll be going, why are we bringing back for? What were we thinking? We brought Gareth Bale back. It was a honeymoon for a minute, but it took a long time to make anything. Let's not keep being sentimental. So, no. Christian, I love you. God bless you. I'm glad you're still alive. I'm glad you're in the league. But don't come and put a shirt on for Spurs. Don't do it. Because I will be the one reminding you all, he can't take a corner.
Wait, man, wait.
He did today.
Tell me something.
He took 16 corners today, bruv, and all of them beat the first man. At one point, he done an in-swinger as well, bruv. Look, he's
You're Anthony Costa right now. You become Anthony Costa. Because you know what happens. It will always happen against us. You watch your next game, the first 5, I'm going to put a bet on. The next game he plays, the first 5 corners he takes don't beat the first man. I'm going to put that bet on. You heard me here say it now. You know what happens? It's Tottenham. It's the energy of that sentimental value that kicks in. And Eriksen, I knew he was I expected him to score a free kick today. I was like, he's going to do it today. He's going to get it. But if you guys want him, you guys can have him. Who wants him? Who wants him? Rick,
me, 100%. I want him back.
You go, Simone.
Tell me. Tell me.
Well, of course, guys, you know, you've got Bentancur, Skip, Winks, Højbjerg. You know, when you you spell Christian Eriksen is all the day better than this kind of midfielders, guys. You know, I completely agree, man. I completely agree that it's not fitting 3-4-3, maybe 3-5-2, maybe as a number 10 behind Sonia Kane, but I would love to see him back at Tottenham because he's such a great player. You know, when you talk about Gareth Bale and the sensational return that he had last season, the biggest problem for Bale was Jose Mourinho, guys. Because Gareth was not the right man to play on the right to follow the left back of the opponent. So Jose Mourinho didn't want him to be back, didn't want to play him. So the biggest problem for Bale, guys, was Jose, because in the last 6 or 7 games of Gareth scored 6 goals, 3 goals against Sheffield, 2 goals away at the King Power Stadium in Leicester. So he did good. I was expecting as well something more from Bale, but you know, I think that it's the top bargain that you can bring in as a free agent, because of course there is Pogba. Pogba wants so much money, and I don't think he will join Tottenham. There is Dybala, but Dybala wants to stay in Italy. And to be honest, when you were talking about player which disappear in the big stage, in the big moments, Paulo Dybala unfortunately showed in the last couple of years that he is one of them. He is one of them. And this is the biggest problem that convinced the Juventus board to not extend this contract, guys.
Wow.
Darren, I think I need to play you some more video clips of Eriksen.
Let me jump in on Eriksen, man. Let me just jump in on Eriksen for a minute, all right? Because I was upset when he wanted to leave, and I was like, look, if he wants to leave, then fine. A bit like a boyfriend that's been shunned by his girlfriend. I'm like, well, I don't like you anyway. You can leave. Do you know what I mean? Like, on that type of energy. But
his stats are incredible, Rick.
Listen, his stats are incredible. I think at the same time, he is a bit of a metronome. He can dictate pace. I think Darren has a good point in a 2 that might be troublesome, but I think in a 3 in midfield, I think he could be really good for us. I mean, look at all. I mean, I know we're looking at today, and Darren, you had a great point today. Of course, against us, he was gonna do what he done, right, and probably score. He didn't, thank goodness. But you know what? With a second chance in life, right? When you get a second chance in life, literally, I think he's grabbed this with both hands. I think the fact that Inter Milan said that, there's a rule that says that he couldn't play in the Italian league, I think that disappointed him. I think that broke him a little bit. But I think that gave him a kind of a determination to be back and to show everybody what he's about. He's come in with Brentford. It's taken him a little while to get up to speed. But look at the way that he's turned back into the metronome again. He's making better decisions than he was at the tail end of Spurs. And I don't know whether that was, the time that he had in Italy and under Conte that has helped improve him, or whether he's got a second chance at life stroke football, that he's taken this and he's sometimes it's like sometimes we hold ourselves back. I don't know what it is. You could put any example, forward. Sometimes we hold ourselves back, whether it be, I don't know, playing FIFA or having a run, or sometimes you might be with a friend and you're playing cards and you hold yourself back. You're like, all right, I'll let him win. I think with Eriksen's second chance, I think he's pushed all that to the side. I think he's like, forget that, forget holding back, forget playing within myself. I'm going to show everybody that and his appreciation for life, not just for life, but for football, to be able to play again in today's era. I think that he's pushed himself and he's going to continue to push himself to a next level. And I think that if he could have that with Spurs on a free transfer, I think, I think that could work. I just think it could work. I wouldn't rule it out. Let me tell you.
I hear you. I hear every point that's been made, and I honestly, my ears are wide. They're open. They're listening. For me, I'd say if you guys want him, then if it happens, it happens. For me, the 2 biggest factors in this transfer is going to be: does Conte want him, and does he have a system that can include him? Because we can all see the problems of if we did get him. Also, the luxury of having him coming off the bench. But let's be real, Eriksen ain't going to want to come on cheap wages either. He's going to want to be paid. He's going to want to come. So there's so many elements to this deal that I'm going, yes, it's free, but it is going to be money because he is going to want a lot of money. And there's stuff that I go, but is he the guy? Because like we said, when he left us, there was a little bit of a bad, but like you say, he turned off his game. He has had a second lease of life. Amazing. I'm so happy. But does he want to come and be a part of it? He got a great reception that you beautifully captured, Chris, by the way. Beautifully captured the reception that he got today. And if that warms his heart and he says, I want to come, I've got to stop using the term heart. If that warmed him up and he wants to come and be a part of it, then come and be a part of it. But then you need to show me something, because I'm one of the fans here going, I'm not on sentiment. Because like you said, when Bale came, Mourinho didn't really want it. So he couldn't really fit him in. If we're buying Bale or getting Bale back and it's not really a Conte recruit, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources when we could be using it in a better way. And like that person who commented said, is he better than what we have? Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. But is he the right piece of the puzzle? Because we've got to put the right puzzle together right now. We can't just get the bits that look better. We need to get Conte's pieces because he's got to be the one to put the puzzle together.
Well, as you know, Darren, on all of these shows, we always talk about the key moments of the game. And the first couple that I actually wrote down, I know there's not many to do with Spurs because we didn't have a shot on target again. But after 7 minutes, Christian Eriksen with a great corner, beat the first man. It actually went to the far post on the volley, but blocked. In the 17th minute, Christian Eriksen again with a corner. Beat the first man, as you said he don't do, but he beat the first man again. Header onto the bar. That's two fantastic chances for Brentford.
Oh mate, we feel your pain, Chris. Like I was when you said we were doing this tonight. After that, I was like, this is gonna be a short one because there's no highlights.
I've got more. After 20 minutes, another. I probably assume it was blocked. There's a common theme here.
God, it's nuts. But the thing is, like in the group this morning, we all knew that the fear was Eriksen's coming back. What's he going to do to us? That was the fear. We all had that fear, and of course, it's just going to be quality corners. The thing that he couldn't do when he had our shirt on. Mental.
Simone, let's come to you. Antonio Conte after the game, talking about no shots on target. That I'm a little bit worried about actually in these two games against Brighton and today against Brentford. He said this is a consequence of scoring many goals. You start to become a dangerous team. The opponent tries to pay more attention when they face you. We wanted to get 3 points, but the draw was fair and we have to accept this type of result. Are you concerned about the forward three, Kulusevski, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane? Didn't really have many opportunities again today.
Guys, there is a huge difference between the front three and the other 7 players of the squad because it's difficult to find in Europe a connection like Kane and Sonny. But of course, you need something more as a number 10, as a number 8. And here we go once again. It's Christian Eriksen. It's not Christian Eriksen, but I think that it's quality because it's impossible for Harry that he has to drop to the midfield to act as a number 10 and to play. Once is good, twice is good, third time is not good enough because we are talking about one of the greatest number 9 in the world, and he has to be and to feel himself as a number 9. So I think that Tottenham needs something to create also in the first half. Because if you remember also the game of the Villa Park 2 weeks ago, I think it was the worst first half of the season, guys. Maybe at the same level of the Arsenal first half under Nuno. One of the worst first half. So it's all about mentality. It's all about attacking well in the first half, pressing high. So that has to be the way. That has to be the way. Also, not talking about tactical analysis. Now I was more going to mental situation.
Ricky, let's come to you. I was going to talk about all of the key incidents in the game, but they just all involve Christian Eriksen. So I don't really want to wind Darren up anymore. But are you concerned about that we didn't have a shot on target? 2 games running now. Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, very quiet again. You concerned about that?
Yeah, I am. I believe that they will get it back. I believe that they will they've got the quality to do the job, definitely. But I think it's on the back of what Darren kind of said about, and what Simone just said there in the fact that we've scored a lot of goals, and what Conte said, we've scored a lot of goals, and people are like, oh, Spurs are dangerous. All right, cool. How do we play to stop them? And they've doubled up on our Wingbacks, and like Darren said earlier, they've stuck a midfielder on Harry Kane, which denies him that space when he drops back and when he's trying to push forward. Today, every time that we try to have 2 touches with the ball, it would bounce awkwardly, and Brighton would double team, or they would nick the ball off of the toe in the second bounce. When you're controlled, or it's come to your foot, it's bounced up, you've tried to control it, And just as you're trying to control it, Brighton nicked it off the toes and broke on us. So we need plan Bs. The boys need to be confident in playing a different way. I think Conte has to kind of be confident in changing a system when the system's been worked out, and especially with the personnel that we've got. We know, all of us know now, the most important positions on the field is right wing back and left wing back for a Conte system. Now, if we haven't got the personnel to deliver, then what else can we do? How can we change it in game? Can we make subs, or can we change tactics and personnel earlier in the game to affect it, instead of these last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes, last 15 minutes, where we can bring on a Lucas or a Bergwijn? It's like, I know what Darren said earlier, which is that, you know, it looks like Conte doesn't trust the personnel that he has, but we have to try. We have to switch it up. You have to give these people the opportunity. He might not be playing Bergwijn because he's already said to Conte and to Tottenham that when the end of the season comes, he wants to leave. Maybe he said that. I'm not saying I know that, but maybe he said something like that where Conte's looked at him and kind of gone, well, can I rely on you then? You know, it looks like Lucas is hurt, that he's lost his spot to Kulusevski. He's a great squad player, he's a great team player, Lucas, but it looks a little bit like he's been hurt. Like his ego's been hurt, or his heart's been hurt, his nose is a bit out of joint, so that when he comes on, we're not seeing the pace or the dribbles, or we're not seeing the magic Mora when he comes on right now. So I think, you know, we need to be able to bring out plan Bs and plan Cs. But Conte's main focus was working on plan A and getting us to be structured, organized, professional, determined, you know, energetic, and be forward flowing forward, be on the front foot. But in the last 2 games, that just hasn't happened for us. So we definitely need to look at plan Bs and plan Cs.
But Rick, you know, like just like the plan A, plan B situation, it's funny when I looked at what has happened in our last 2 games and the way in which teams have now lined up against us. And Conte's right. People are seeing the blueprint. And like you said, the key players are left wing back, right wing back. But what the teams have realised is that they're not great. Our left wing back and our right wing back are not great. So instead of putting the attention there, they're squeezing the game on us. So they're giving the room to those areas, going, you're not great out there. The place where you think we're silly is you want us to go out there, that you leave holes for Harry Kane. So we're not doing that anymore. We're going to stay compact and say the only way you're going to score today, Spurs, is down the middle. And now we've got traffic. So Kulusevski hasn't got space. Son hasn't got space. Then the ball, as you saw, the triangles don't work anymore because we've not got a midfield that moves the ball quick enough. So it just becomes very easy for a team to do the shuffle. They just keep shuffling across and they're covering the space. They're not allowing holes. And that's what we're relying on, holes. However, teams like Liverpool are going to want to play. So when you've got a team that wants to play, it gives us holes. So it's mad to think that the Brighton game and today were games that we lost because the teams are better organised and they've come to play in a certain way. And that's why the Arsenal game is a game that is going to be open. Like if you watch them today, like, God blimey, it is open as hell. So it plays into our hands. But Burnley ain't going to do that. They're not going to play that way against us. They're not going to set up in that manner. They're going to go, Norwich, if they're not, well, they'll be down by that point. But their pride will say, we're not going to get battered by Spurs today. So they're going to do the same thing. So I think Conte is going to have to use what I call his golden week now to look at people like Mora and go, do I play you right wing back? Because no one's going to expect that. Do I put your energy and your pace as a right wing back and go, let's attack them in a different way? And hopefully, as you said, plan B, plan C, because plan A is very clear on paper, but the personnel isn't always right for it. So let's hope we start using the magic wand against the Burnleys, the Norwiches, even Leicester. Because like we saw in the Leicester game, Bergwijn's substitution saved us. We weren't winning that game. So we know that's not going to be easy. We're going to have to pull something out of the bag. Maybe, as I've say, give Mora a shot, a right wing back. Let's be different. Let's try something else.
It must be very difficult, though, Darren, at this stage of the season to experiment like that, where he's not played in that position before for Tottenham.
Yeah.
What would you have done differently if you were Antonio Conte? Because I saw, on online social media last week, particularly when we lost to Brighton 1-0 at home, he received a lot of flack about the subs that he made. What would you have done differently today if you were Conte? Because, Steven Bergwijn, players even like Joe Rodon, I know we didn't expect him to play today, but it's just an example of players playing more for their country right now than actually in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt. But what would you have done differently? And do you think that there is a future for Steven Bergwijn? Because you just mentioned the Leicester game. I think back to the West Ham game in the League Cup at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 1 assist, 1 goal, another good night for him. But, he's not really given much game time, is he?
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I wouldn't do much different. There's not many things that Conte he's getting wrong. Let's just be real about that. We've come from this season started with Nuno.
In the stadium today, a number of people were saying Conte's got to change it. And I'm thinking, how can he change it? How can he change the game? Are you bringing off Harry Kane, Heung-min Son and putting Steven Bergwijn on a straight swap? Is that what you would have done?
No, I totally hear you, Chris, and that's what I mean. Like, for me, going through the stages is we're at a point now where there is minimal effect he can have with the resources he has. However, with the week he has, like you said, I believe there's an opportunity, a week of training. I believe he's probably tried this before, to go, let's look at how we could address this balance differently. We know what is coming. We know what these teams are going to try and do to us. Let's go, Lucas, for this week of training, you're a pro. Let's give it a go. Let's just try it on the training field. Bergwijn, you know what? Let's try you left side. Let's just see what happens. Because then if we get to 60 minutes and the game isn't going well, let's give that a game. Let's give that a gamble. Steven Bergwijn goes left wing back. Lucas Moura comes on right wing back. No one sees that coming. You've got a real attacking line. You've got a lot of pace. And maybe these players go, actually, Gaffer, now I'm part of the plan. I didn't feel part of the plan because Bergwijn, I believe, was going to be sold. He was gone in that transfer window. And I think all the other moves didn't quite happen, so we held on to him. I don't honestly believe he was held on because we believe he was going to come good. I think we didn't get the players in we wanted, so he's ended up staying. And I think that's why when he plays for Holland, you're seeing a player that we go, why are we not getting that at Spurs? Because I don't think he's getting it at Spurs. He's not. His heart's not fully there. He's not getting the game. So, of course, if you're only getting 15 minutes, sometimes you get 7 for crying out loud. It's not going to be the performance you're going to want to give. And he's kicking the ball in anger. And when you're doing that, like we saw, he's snapping at shots. Some will go in, some won't. So I believe Conte isn't getting much wrong. But like you said, Chris, you were there like I'm watching going, he needs to make a change. But unless he does what I've said, something quite dramatic, everything else is going to be taking off Son to put on Bergwijn. How does that make it better? Taking off Kulusevski, bringing on Moura. They're not an improvement on the bench. Like we spoke about our midfield bringing in Eriksen, they're a step up if Eriksen's on the pitch. But if you take off Eriksen and bring on Winks, that's never going to improve us. So we need more than just that. And that's the balance that we don't have. Rick, you were going to jump in. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, my thing about it was we all heard that Kulusevski could play in a varied amount of positions, and I'd love to know Simone's kind of opinion on this as well. But I would have put Kulu to right wing back. I would have relied on Reguilon on the left wing back at that point, and I would have stuck maybe swap Son from left to right or keep them fluid. And have Bergwijn on the other side. So you've got Bergwijn, Sonny, Kane up front. You allow Sonny and Bergwijn to swap and keep it fluid. But you've got Kulu, who's big, who's strong, who we've heard has played in that position before, and have his physicality and his crossing ability and his dribble ability at right wing back instead of Emerson. And the reason I said Reguilon on the left side, just because he's a lot more reliable. In general, he's a lot more reliable, So I would have done that. That's how I would have changed it.
Yeah, I completely agree, guys. Let me tell you this thing. In Italy, we all know Antonio. Antonio is a top-class manager, world-class manager, no doubt about it. But his biggest problem, and maybe is one of the reasons why in this stage of his career, the top clubs in Europe don't want him, is that he rely on that kind of system, 3-4-3, 3-4-2-1, or maximum 3-5-2. So he is convinced by the fact that playing that way, with that big importance of the wingbacks that you were clearly and brilliantly pointing out, is the best way to win a game of football. But guys, today, back four, Ben Davies becoming the old Ben Davies as a left back, bringing in Lucas and Bergwijn. If you want to call off Kulusevski, okay, you can call off Kulusevski, but I would have changed system, guys. 4-2-3-1, 4-2-4, 4-4-2, just like you wish, just like you want, just like the point that we were clearly stating some minutes ago. So this is my thoughts and feelings. This is my thoughts and feelings. And as Darren was saying, and I would love to see Christian Eriksen back at the club. The biggest problem is that where Antonio would like to play Christian Eriksen, because another biggest problem for Antonio is that he wants that every single player follow his instruction. So this is the biggest fact that shows how he struggled to play Fabregas in his second year at Chelsea and Christian as well in his first year in Inter de Milan, because he wants every single player to follow his instruction. So it's easier to do that with a right back, with a Matt Doherty, for example. But when you have players with the quality, with the skills of Cesc Fabregas, Christian Eriksen, you have to give them the freedom to express their talent, the freedom to let them play. This is the biggest difference between, for example, Antonio Conte and Carlo Ancelotti, for example, if you want to listen to some names of Italian football. This is the difference. And in my opinion, you need managers that let this kind of players play on their freedom. This is to point out some defects, some problems of Antonio. But we are talking about a world-class manager, guys.
Simone, have you seen Kulusevski play at right wing back? Have you seen it?
Never,
has he adapted well?
Never. Only in Burnley, only in this season with Tottenham, Ricky. A couple of situations. Maybe I remember in Burnley when Tottenham were losing.
Simone, whilst you're on, I just wanted to ask you about the rumours in the last 24 hours about Antonio Conte possibly going to PSG next season.
You know, April, guys, is all about rumors. So rumors. I don't know if it is for Leonardo. If Leonardo is gonna stay as a sporting director, I don't think Antonio is the right man for the job. So Antonio has got a contract, just like Poch in Paris. Antonio has got 1 year more on contract and an option to extend for another year at the end of the next season. So I think it is. In Italy, someone is suggesting that he's having a relationship with once again with Juventus, but you know, rumors, just speculations and rumors, guys.
Ricky, do you think that Antonio Conte is surprised on how far he's taken this Spurs team this season to compete for the Champions League spot?
No, because I think he 100% believes in himself, in his system, in his tactics, and what he can get out of a squad of players. So I don't think it surprised him. I think he knew that if everybody followed what he was saying, and if everybody put in the right motivation and the right effort, that we would be up there. I think it's us fans that know Tottenham, that are like, we'll get there and then we might slip, or are we really? Or we look at past results and we look at that win, lose, and we're like, it's not going to happen. And part of our heartbreak over the years, when we've got close to certain things, this season, we've tried to protect ourselves. Even me saying fifth is trying to protect, like we're going to finish fifth, even though I said fourth today. But in general, me saying fifth is trying to protect myself so that if we finish outside of that top four, then, okay, I was a little bit, I was right. Do you know what I mean? That we would finish fifth. But we all want that, we all want that. So I don't think Conte was surprised at all. I just think, I think he knows what he needs. And he's a champion. He's a winner. We've said it many a time. And I think, especially, taking away these last 2 games, we really did start to see the Conte Tottenham. We really did start to see the system paying off. We started to see the players at a different level. That's why it's really surprising these last 2 games that it feels like Nuno's taken back over, because it just doesn't feel like Conte's Tottenham right now. I know it's a dip. I know. I'm not going to say that. I don't want to disrespect Conte, but that's what's the biggest surprise. So I know that's the biggest surprise to us fans.
You must be upset about this 0-0 today, Rick, because that's twice you've mentioned Nuno on the same video.
Bro, it punched me in my gut today. It really did. It really did. It's just, do you know what it is as well? It's the other results. It's the Gooners. It's the other results. It's, it just punched me in my gut where I was just like, come on, boys, please. Like, just show everybody what you're about. Turn up like you have the last couple of weeks, apart from last week, and show everybody what you're about. And so it was just disappointing to see that again, bro. We've had many a full stone. And it just, it gets to me sometimes. It gets to my emotions.
But Rick, on that note, you mentioned Nuno.
Yeah.
You know how I always feel about this is when we start talking about it's like Nuno's back in charge or we're back under that kind of mindset. Look at the players. That's all I'm saying. Look at the players. In the games, you've got the most passionate manager on the touchline in Antonio Conte. As you said, if you ask Conte, does he believe what he's done with the way he's got Spurs and the fact that we're competing with 4th? He believes that he's that good. But like we've been saying, there are members of that squad that aren't that good. And they're not quite there to be top 4. So it doesn't matter who's managing. Like we said, we've got one of the best managers in the world, in world football right now, governing us. And we're very honoured to have him. And he's honoured to have us as a fan base backing him. And what we now need is him to have the right tools. As Simone said, he wants to play his system. You can see Conte is a stubborn individual. He wants it to go this way. And he needs the clientele to go that way or we will lose him. So I think these rumours of Paris Saint-Germain and all of that right now, I think it's all part of this merry-go-round to go, remember, there are other sides that want me. So make sure I get what I want. Because I'm wanted out there. People love me. I could go anywhere. You're lucky to have me. And I think now it's really key that we dispel those old ideas of what Spurs were and really focus on what everyone wants Spurs to be. Because this season, this top 4 is open because we're up and down. The Gooners are up and down. Man United's up and down. No one wants to take that 4th spot. If you look at the league, Man United, Man City and Liverpool, head and shoulders above everybody else. Chelsea have even shown that they don't know what they're doing half the time. So when you look at the league right now, Conte could see that. He's a very intelligent footballing man. He's gone, it's up for grabs, not because Spurs are that great, but because everyone else is mediocre too. So I could nick it. And now it's a case of going, if we nick it, great, happy days. I believe we will. If we don't, it's the tools to make sure, because everyone else is going to improve. We need to be ready to be Conte ready next season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we've got 5 games left in the Premier League. Darren, I want to start with you. I want to go through every single game that we've got left. I want to go through Arsenal's remaining fixtures as well, just to see if it backs up that we are going to finish in the top 4, okay? So I just want you to give me the word win, lose or draw. So Leicester at home.
Win.
Darren, win?
Win.
Liverpool away.
Draw.
Arsenal at home.
Win.
Burnley at home.
Win.
Norwich away. Hello?
Win.
Simone, let's do the same for you. Leicester at home.
Win.
Liverpool away.
Lost.
Arsenal at home.
I don't want to answer, please. I don't want to answer.
Shall I put you down as a draw then?
Sorry?
A win?
I hope so.
A win, yeah? Well, don't be forcing. Burnley at home.
Win.
And Norwich away.
Lost. Spurs here.
Oh, wow.
Lost?
Wow.
Lost.
Wow.
Good. Typical
Okay.
Tottenham, guys.
Ricky? Right, Leicester at home.
Win.
I know where this is going. Liverpool away.
2-1 win.
Wow.
Wow.
Arsenal at home.
3-0 win.
Good grief. Burnley at home.
Draw.
What, so we're going to beat Liverpool and Arsenal, and then we're going to draw to Burnley?
We're
Yeah.
Tottenham.
And Newcastle, Norwich City away.
2-1 win.
Okay. Right, Darren, let's start with you on the Arsenal fixtures. West Ham away. Will they win, draw, or lose?
Lose. They're going to lose. Yep.
Leeds at home.
Lose.
Tottenham away.
Lose.
Lose.
Newcastle away.
Draw.
And Everton at home.
Win.
So you're giving them 4 points out of the remaining 5 games.
Yep.
Simone, West Ham away for Arsenal.
Draw.
Leeds at home.
Win.
Tottenham away.
Once again. Lost.
Newcastle away.
Draw or lost? Draw.
And Everton at home.
If Everton are still in the relegation battle, maybe draw or maybe lost. Who knows?
So you're giving them 6 points.
Yeah.
Ricky, West Ham away.
They're gonna. You can't ask me these questions, Chris. You can't.
We've answered them. We've all had to do it.
Bruv, I can't back my team to lose, and I'm never gonna back them lot down the road to win. All right, look, they're gonna lose
gave them one
every
win.
game. They're gonna lose every game apart from Newcastle, where they'll
Come
get
on.
a point.
You've
it.
been on this show enough times to know these
I
sorts
know.
of questions.
Oh goodness.
Okay.
They're gonna
Make
lose.
it
They're gonna lose to West Ham.
To make it easy for you, how many points in those remaining 5 games do you think they'll get?
1 against Newcastle.
1 point. Wow. Yeah, James has said deluded. I'm not sure who that was aimed at.
I know who that was aimed at. I know who. It was
That's
aimed
so
at.
Ricky's.
But I do it with my chest and my heart, bro. I do it with my chest and my heart. It's because I love my Tottenham, my team, man. I can't help it.
Right. So all 3 of you have, these score predictions. You're all going with Tottenham Hotspur finishing 4th. Even though, Simone, you were sitting on the fence, you're going with Tottenham now finishing in the top 4.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah? Simple as that.
We
Simple.
persuaded him. I knew we'd turn him.
Last question for you all. Do you expect Antonio Conte to sign a new contract before the new season starts? Ricky, let's start with you.
Before the new season starts, yeah, I do. I think he'll sign an extension. I think he's seen the passion and love that the Tottenham fans have got, not only for football but for him, and the passion and excitement and energy that we bring to a game. I think he's seen how he's turned us around as a fan base and as a club, and I think slowly but surely he's getting seduced by that. And I think he will sign an extension come the summer. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Darren, you agree?
Yeah, I think he will, but I don't think it's all purely down to what Ricky just said. I think there's another element that may play into Levy's hands in getting him to sign it. Is if we're going to make the type of signings we're going to want to make over the summer, these players are going to want more to know that Conte is not just going to be there for 1 season. So they're going to need to know that he's sticking around for 2. Whether he does it or not is by and by. But I think big players, if we're going to be getting the players that he wants, are going to be buying in to go, Conte, you're not leaving the end of the season, are you? You're sticking around as well. Yeah. So I believe we may get that extension signed at the end of the season. And then if he does too, I don't know yet.
Simone, same question to you, and also another one thrown in. Do you expect him to have a lot of money to spend in the summer?
Yeah, I think so. I always say in June, if you remember, Chris. So.
Yeah.
You do.
So I think so. I'm not sure that he will sign a new contract before the start of the new season, but I think he will stay. He will stay. I think he will stay. He will stay at the club, guys. At least for another season. At least.
Well, according to Ricky, Simone, and Darren, we are finishing in the top 4, even though we've not had a shot on target in these last 2 games.
Come on.
We don't need them.
Fingers crossed. 5 games to go. Ricky, thanks so much for joining us, and tell everyone where they can find you and what you're up to at the moment.
Bro, it has been an honor and a pleasure to be back on, regardless of the game today. I love this show. I love coming on and talking Spurs with football people. Do you know what I mean? I really do enjoy it. So thank you for having me back on. You can find me on Twitter at Ricky J Norwood. It's got the blue tick on there. You can find me on Insta at official Ricky Norwood. There ain't a blue tick because Insta want to play silly buggers, but it's all right. It's okay. We'll get there. And yeah, bro, just auditioning and trying to keep busy. But looking forward to the next game and looking forward to coming back on the show with yourself, Chris.
And finally, Rick, is there any roads that we should avoid for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, muddy, I swear. We went the whole show, Chris. We went the whole show without mentioning it. There wasn't no comments at the bottom. Nobody said anything.
Watford should be pretty safe for people, shouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Isn't it? I gotta go, you know. Like my dinners. I got a car. I got a car calling me. Really nice meeting you all. Oh my gosh.
Do you know what, Rick? I don't think Simone knows this story. Or for the listeners and viewers that don't know this story, do you want to explain it?
Oh, come on. Oh. It's never gonna leave me. It's never gonna leave me. As soon as I put out that I passed my driving test, I had at least 3-4 Tottenham fans being like, "Gonna find your way. Don't forget it's a home game. Don't forget, to put the away address in." Simone, what happened was that I got invited to a game, Tottenham versus Watford. And I was supposed to be meeting up with Chris and a couple of the boys. It was New Year's Day, 1st of January. So the night before was New Year's Eve. And I went out and I had a couple of glasses of, something sparkly. And so the next day anyway, I don't have to worry about getting to Tottenham, okay? Don't have to worry about it because I know it inside backwards. So I travel down. As I'm on a train, I get to Liverpool Street where normally both sets of fans are. Don't see many Tottenham fans, don't see many Watford fans. I get on the Tottenham train, traveling, don't see many Tottenham fans, don't see many Watford fans. I'm like, what's going on here? I come out of the stadium, I walk around, the stadium looks shut. I'm like, am I early? Am I too early? Is the game happening today? I look on my phone 4 times and read it, Watford versus Tottenham. No, it is happening today. It's happening today. I go into the Spurs shop. I'm like, I'm just going to hang about in here for a minute until Chris turns up. Not many fans in there. I'm like, what is going on today? I phone Chris. I'm like, Chris, I'm here. Let me know when you're here. We'll meet up. All right, cool. I get to the till. I buy a few little bits. I get to the till. I'm there talking to Spurs staff, having a giggle. Yeah, great. Happy days. I come outside. I'm like, where's Chris? I phone Chris. I'm like, Chris, where are you, mate? Like, what's going on? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm just down the road here. I'm by the church at Vicarage Road. I said, what? He goes, yeah, I'm just here, but where are you? I said, bruv, I'm at White Hart Lane. I'm at White Hart Lane. And it was only at that point, Simone, that I realised it was an away game. And ever since then, everybody's got me.
You are my hero. You are my hero. You are my hero.
Bro, what can I do?
Unbelievable.
Great story.
It's never gonna leave me.
Darren, thanks so much for joining us again, and tell everyone where they can find you and what you're up to at the moment. Are you still in loads of adverts at the moment?
Always, my friend. I've got to try and keep the bills paid. So yeah, they'll be popping up in a few more soon. I'm all over the social medias at Original Heartman. I haven't quite got the blue tick yet. I'm working on it. I'm also in a sitcom on Channel 4 right now called Chivalry with Steve Coogan and Sarah Sonomani. So yeah, I'm in the last episode. If you wanted to skip to episode 6 just to see me, do that. It's all good. I love the show, Chris. Always a pleasure. Rick, I stayed in my car just to make sure you don't crash into it.
Oh my gosh!
Love it. Well, Watford is definitely a safe place. I can tell you that. Simone, Simone, thank you so much for joining us again. It's been a pleasure having you on, and tell everyone where they can find you and what you're up to.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Darren. Fantastic night alongside you. Really, always a privilege. Always a privilege and a big pleasure. You can find me easily on Instagram, on Facebook. And if you know how to read a little bit of Italian, and you should do, because your manager is Italian, you can read my my website that is footballstation.it. But we're talking about Italian football, English football, but in Italian. So jokes apart, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure as always.
Well, Ricky, Simone, Darren, can't thank you enough. And thanks to everybody for tuning in. If you don't subscribe to this channel as yet, please do hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, do hit that follow button as well. And I will see you for another Spurs Chat video episode, the Leicester game next week, where hopefully we can get back to winning ways and pick up 3 points and especially have a shot on target. Until then, come on, you Spurs.
Come on!